Soon as my name's mentioned, lames are offended. If words hurt you, it wasn't intended. But when it comes to my words, if I said it, I meant it. If the shoe fits, this one is for you, bitch.
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the MREC and Rib Show. What's going on, y'all?
Salute, Rip. What's happening?
Ain't shit, King, man. You know, we had to tap in right quick. You know, the streets are talking right now about this Raekwon album, man. The Emperor's, let me make sure I get it correctly. The Emperor's New Clothes. Make sure I say it right. The LP, The Emperor's New Clothes, man.
Fact.
New album out, Raekwon, right now. A lot of people are talking. Have you happened to listen to the album yet, Rec?
Yes. I would say I'm like 85% in. I'm very impressed with it. You know, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm impressed with it. Great, good project. Good project.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It's definitely some dope joints on there. If you haven't heard it, we'll make sure to leave the link in the description so you can check out the full album in its entirety. But aside from that, right now, everyone is talking about this leaked verse from Nas on the album because I'm seeing people talking about Nas responded back to Jim Jones. Are you hearing this?
I'm hearing this. I was going to go live on it early, about 8 p.m. yesterday. I got caught up in promoting this Streets is a Myth, docu-series that's on my channel. So I got caught up in that. So, yeah, I've been hearing this. You know what I mean?
Listen, y'all, rumors has it that Nas apparently responded back to Jim Jones. A lot of people trying to confirm this verse because, again, when I listened to the album, I didn't hear the verse that's, being played on all of the blogs and things of that nature. So y'all know how we do. We're going to check out this leaked verse of Nas, and then we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Is he really talking about Jim Jones or maybe somebody else? You know what I mean? But the point is, a lot of people, Jim Jones recently had a lot to say about, Nas and his career in comparison to Jim Jones. So the timing of this, it couldn't get any better because, again, Raekwon is with Mass Appeal, right? Nas record label. They just put out Slick Rick's album, a week ago, if not. So, Nas is on an impeccable run right now. Just, the launch of the Casino, you know what I mean? Then you got the tour he doing right now, what he's doing, with the orchestra on Broadway. I mean, yeah.
Facts.
Nas out here, man.
Yeah. Nah, he putting on for the culture in an impeccable way. Salute.
Yeah. But let's get into this verse because I know how y'all are. God damn, play the video. Listen, I got y'all. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new to this channel, like I said, this is the MREC and Rip Show. We're going to continue to bless y'all with content, but, everybody's talking about it. So let's get right into it. I'm going to play this for y'all. Let me mute the mic so y'all can hear this. Then we're going to get into some lyrics afterwards. All right, so let's get to it.
We the examples, we who we said we was, never faked it. Ones who were jury they couldn't play with, the ones who stayed rich. Details of my revolutionary ways probably get studied some CIA shit. Who has true power? Brothers let the cats gas them up. Let a piece of ass drive them crazy. That's nasty stuff. Notice how it's growing. All these suckers are gutless. Get a little money and turn into Uncle Ruckus. This ain't a stupid cartoon, though. I'm the truth, but now you feel like you Anthony Supply troll you not, though. Money bought you some goons, though. I tell it straighter than a hot comb. You a knockoff. You not from the block. Scary nigga. My natural instinct is tell it real and let it sink in. I had to think quick and not let the weak win. Got smoke for me, beef with yourself. I be cheaping too hard to notice every week. It be somebody else. Soon as my name's mentioned, lames are offended. If words hurt you, it wasn't intended. But when it comes to my words, if I said it, I meant it. If the shoe fits, this one is for you, bitch. You got me confused with your fabricated form of delusion. You're dusty, need to be bitch smacked. Face on the stump, feet on concrete. They want me tricked back. 30 on bottles alone, a mill in the wrist. Facts, excellency. Losers envious, they pretend to be us. Feminine traits fake, low-key, they women disgusted. Lame for life, a list of them. Rich bums, Broken thoughts speak on me like I'm a bitch or something. It's mind-boggling who they are behind the scenes. It gets spooky in Brooklyn, Bronx, Harlem, and all the Queens. It's Staten Island, real type shit. Dying species of real men. I feel that shit, yeah.
Hold on, y'all. Hey, Rack, hold up, Rack. Hold up. Did you hear what this
Okay.
man just said, fam? Nigga
I
said it
didn't
gets
hear it.
spooky. He gets spooky in Brooklyn, man. Shout out to Nas.
Salute to Nas. He's tapped in. You know what
Could
I
you
mean?
hear it? Was you able to hear it, Rack?
Nah, I wasn't able to hear it, but I heard the verse. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man. Again, y'all can run it back on the playback, but I'm gonna pull up some of these lyrics because, like I said, when it came to the hold on, give me a second. To the one I heard on, on a different streaming platform, the verse was different. So I don't know, what was the reason for removing certain lyrics. I'm not sure, but when I hear it on the YouTube streaming app, I didn't hear that part about the Dusty and I'm like, hold up, what verse is this? But let me pull up some of these lyrics so y'all can hear. Hold on real quick.
Let me give people some
go ahead,
context.
King. Go ahead.
Now, if you know Nas, right, and if you ever heard the stories of Nas doing features, now I'm gonna take one particular story from DJ Clue when he did the DJ Clue, I want to say the Professional album. He said Nas did like I want to say multiple verses. You know what I mean? Nas did a whole record, but Nas did so many different variations to that record with different verses. So Nas is the type, even matter of fact, recently, Raekwon, I want to say, I don't know if it's a new interview, but let's just say it's an interview of Raekwon speaking on the verbal intercourse verse, the verbal intercourse verse from Nas, the classic verse that everybody loved. He said Nas did multiple verses, and I think these are verses that Nas had already written, and he was just went in the booth spitting, and Ray and Ghost and RZA was like, nah, that's the one right there. You know what I mean? Once they heard the verbal intercourse verse. So Nas has a history of doing multiple verses for a feature,
Listen, man, he from the era where, they putting 3-4 verses in a record.
Correct.
That shit sounds unheard of when you hear some of these records today. I mean, it should be, 70 seconds for some of these singles. You get what I mean? So, you're talking about a different era. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I got some of the lyrics. Can you see the lyrics up here, King?
Yeah, I can see the lyrics. I'm gonna have to make it wide on the screen. Pause.
I got you. Let me so y'all can see this.
Yep, I see it. I see it clear as day.
Got you. All right.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Now he says on the verse, we the examples. We who we said we was. Never faked it. Ones who are jury, they couldn't play with. Okay. Now I'm gonna get a little, let me see here so I can scroll down the side. Because it was the part where he said Dusty. He said it right here.
That could apply to a few people, but let's get it.
Of course. He says all these suckers are gutless. Get a little money and turn into Uncle Ruckus. This ain't a super cartoon though. I'm the truth, but right? Then he says, you not. Money bought you some gonzo. I tell it straighter than a high cone. You a knockoff. You not from the cloth, okay? So that's why I said certain parts in the verse, it was as if he kind of removed it. But he says, I had to think quick and I let the weak win. Got smoke for me, beef with yourself. I be chiefing too hard to notice every week. It be somebody else. Soon as my name's mentioned, lames are offended. If words hurt you, it wasn't intended. But when it comes to my words, if I said it, I meant it. Now, is that the lyrics from Second Childhood and it possibly applying to certain rappers who weren't able to move on? You see what I'm saying? Because he's saying, names as if, there's multiple people. It ain't just Jim.
Yeah.
So clearly, he keeps his ear to the streets.
What you just read, I think that applies more to Jim. You know what I'm saying?
Now check it
and what
out.
you
He
just
said he
read.
goes
Yeah.
in. Hold on. He goes in more. He says, you got me confused with your fabricated form of delusion. You're dusty. Need to be smacked. Face under stump. Feet on concrete. They want me tricked back. 30 on bottles alone. A million wrist facts.
Mm.
Excellency is envious. They pretend to be us. Feminine traits fake. Low key, they women disgusted lame for a life. And illicit them rich bums, broken soft. Like I said, you could tell, but this
Going
was
in.
where this is the part where I felt like Nas was saluting you low key. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but when he says behind the scenes, it gets spooky in Brooklyn, Harlem, and all the Queens. It's Staten Island. Now, we know where Nas is from, but he made sure to shout out Brooklyn first. Come on.
Nah, salute. Over 10 years ago, 11 years ago, somebody called my show and they pointed it out. Yo, MREC, you one of the first people that use spooky in a general sense. You know what I'm saying? And when I brought it to the forefront, I said that's a Brooklyn thing, but I'm gonna use it on a general sense. Like to me, like the homie Rob Murder, you know what I'm saying? Formerly a Bird Gang, he may still be Bird Gang, but anyhow, he used to say spooky, but it was just more or less I'm the spooky G's or just spooky. Me, I used it in a general sense, and you know, he says he was using it in a general sense, but for me, I know I did. But I always saluted him, and I said, yo, spooky is a Brooklyn thing. So, you know, salute the Nas for pointing that out there. You know what I mean?
Well, like
For
you
keeping
said,
it
you
G'd up.
know, those that know, you know what I'm saying, they know. You know what I mean? If you tapped in on the internet or in these streets with the content, you know what I mean? It goes to show when you think people not paying attention, they watching.
Oh,
You know
that's
what
a
I
fact.
mean? Very,
That's a fact.
very strategic because, you know, Nas know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said when I originally heard the verse, I didn't hear that part about your dusty and all. I didn't hear all that. That's why I'm like, oh, what is everybody talking about? I go on, and now it's a question of is the verse, you know, leaked AI? We've seen that already with you know, Drake and the Kendrick beef and things of that nature. But you know, aside from that, you know, listen, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think this is a worthy response if aimed at, you know, Jim Jones?
No,
What do you think?
I think this is a warning, right? The
Mm.
same way he warned Jay-Z when he put out the paid in full freestyle. You remember that freestyle?
It's
Off
been
the
a
paid
while.
in full
I gotta
instrumental?
listen to it. It's been a minute.
And he warned Jay-Z. You know what I mean? I think this is the same way he's warning Jim Jones, and I'm gonna say this, and somebody else. You know what I mean?
Look,
And
I'll take it there. When you say
yeah,
Dusty, there was a person who labeled a legendary rapper Dusty.
uh-huh,
And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong,
uh-huh.
but there was a time when Shane was going at Nas about a year ago.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? So again, when this verse was recorded, I'm not sure. Is he calling MC Shane Dusty? Look, I'm not saying that. It's possible.
Yeah,
But
he ain't put a
again,
name on it, but it can be
yes,
possible.
it's
Yes.
essentially whoever's been speaking on his name for the past couple of years. Now, for the record, him and Shane, you know, have patched it up. They did their show together. They got past that. But the point is,
Correct.
you know what I mean? He's addressing everybody who seems to feel a certain type of way about Nas one way or another. You know, whether it's the music, the legacy. But when I think about him speaking on his words, putting records, I'm thinking about Second Childhood and how that applied to not just Jim Jones, but a lot of MCs from that era.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Who are afraid to just move on, evolve from your mentality. You know what I mean? You still on the corner hustling, homie. I mean, you know, shout out to you on your grind, but you know, the hustle is now evolved. You get what I'm saying?
You know, I get it.
It's
I
more
get it.
than the street corners, King. And that's what Nas is really trying to say when he's making these plays with the casino. He doing all of these things. He's not just doing it for him, but for the sake of hip hop to show y'all like, yo, this is the way. Because
Correct.
come on, hip hop just turning 50, 51 years old. We're not accustomed to seeing our legends go out like this. You know what I mean? On top, getting it.
Facts.
So they're making history. We're witnessing it right in front of our face. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
again,
phenomenal.
not to take all of the attention from Raekwon's album. Again, The Emperor's New Clothes. Like I said, you got some dope features on there, Meth on there, West Side Gun. Check it
Yes.
out, man. Check it out. What are your thoughts on, after the first listen, man?
The whole Griselda's on there. I want to say this. Nas saying the spooky thing. I believe Nas watched Spooky Hours, the TV series on the Spooky Hours app. So salute to him on that. I believe so. I think he was influenced by that, allegedly. But on the first listen to this Raekwon project, I was like, it's okay, right? But then I listen again. I'm like, nah, this right here, it's a good project. You know what I mean? Went from okay to being like, nah, this is good. Now I'm about to be on my third, fourth listen, and it may get better. You know what I mean? But like I said, I got a few more songs I got to finish. But I got like maybe a song after the Nas joint, the Omerta joint with him and Ray, and that beat was so phenomenal. Who produced that, by the way? Because I tell dudes,
I think it said Knots. I think it said Knots.
Oh yeah,
Knots. Shout out to the homie. Official.
Salute to Knots, one of the best producers that don't get his credit. He don't get his credit. One of the best producers. M. Rec saying this. So, and I told y'all, when it comes to hip hop and music in general, production, is the first thing that, sets the tone. You know what I mean? The production sets the tone. A lot of y'all's tone deaf, so y'all wouldn't understand. A lot of y'all is not from this cloth, so y'all can't even really have this conversation. But that we'll leave that for another live or another loop, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I think for me, one of the records I like strongly on here was 600 School. I thought that was dope. The Wild, I don't know how you say it, Corsicans. I don't know how you say that shit. That's the record with Conway, Ben, Griselda.
Yep, that's fire.
Yo, it's some dope records on here. Seeing how Clips last week
but
released
Mac and Lobster with Ray and Ghost. They ain't go back and forth, but it's like the classic Ray and Ghost. It gives that heaven and hell
energy.
Yeah, that energy that Ray and Ghost could bring you is like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? Cookies and milk. You know what I'm saying? They got the illest chemistry in hip hop far as a duo. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's fact. They definitely golded. That's why I think it's interesting, because with Clips releasing their latest album and everyone now, feeling energized after listening to the album, it's like, yo, this is what we need. Let's get back to bars. Let's get back to substance. You know what I mean? So to me, it couldn't get any better than this. You know what I mean? Considering that Raekwon, this is his first album, what they're saying, since 2017.
Damn, I ain't know it's been that long.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of MCs, they got to get that rust stuff off them. And in this project, it doesn't seem like Ray has missed a step. Be real.
Nah, Ray is one of the ones that his rhyme scheme is always been ahead of the time. You know what I'm saying? He's ahead of his time with his rhyme scheme. So he's always gonna be sharp. I know his darts always gonna be sharp. So salute to Ray on this. Salute to the Clips too. They got a good project too. You know
all the MCs right now, Slick Rick, all of the OGs putting out projects.
Slick Rick.
Not worrying about the criticism or any of that. Just put out the music, man. The people are here. We're waiting to digest the music, and it'll create its own life once it's out there for public consumption. But when it comes to Ray, he's already GOAT status. He don't have to really prove anything. You got that Billboard core fans who believe, streams and numbers and yada yada yada. But for those who, from that era, they're gonna appreciate this project. You know what I mean? Fact. So, like I said, if y'all want to hear the full album, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description, because now that we getting this couple listens, like I said, do you think Jim Jones is going to take heed to Nas and his warning, or?
Oh, this is what Jim Jones want. Jim Jones is going to be dropping something, if not today, before the weekend is out. I'll put money on that. Who want to bet me? You know what I'm saying? Who over here at Forgotten Kings TV, MREC TV, MREC and Rip Show, Rec Mob, hip hop in general? Who want to bet me Jim Jones does a Nas diss response in the next 48 hours or so? Who want to bet me?
Shit like trading
I got
places.
1,000 on it. I got 1,000 on it. What's up? Who want to bet? I got 10K. What's up?
God damn, I got 10K in Usher bucks, Rec. Don't worry, I got you. I'll match it, Dick. You ain't saying nothing, Dick.
No doubt. We can even do Bitcoin. I got 10K in Bitcoin. What y'all want to do, man?
Well, they get the nigga and shit, so man, they put him on the car on the ground and shit, they rob him and shit. Like, the feel me, the shotty, I sawed it off myself, so I know that shit do real damage. TM had that shit to the nigga head, and I'm thinking to myself, it ain't even over no real money. I'm already about to go to jail. And I said, nah. And the nigga eased up off him. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of terrified because I ain't even want to see that. Like, I'm one of them niggas like, I'll pat at you, but I ain't running up on you and shooting you in the face and then standing over you, hitting you 12 times. I'm not psychotic like that. Like, you feel me? If I did it, it was over some money or over some disrespect. So I was out to prove a point, not to, you know, maim or disfigure nobody. Like, I'm not a psycho type shit. Like, you feel me? Like, so, you know what I'm saying? That was a terrifying moment for me because I ain't want to see that. And I'm about to get sentenced. You feel me?
Have you lived the life the streets tried to write for you, but ultimately found your own ending? Do you have a story of survival, betrayal, or redemption? We're looking for real people with real experiences to share their truth. If the streets tried to break you, but you made it out, we want to hear from you. Hit us up now to be a part of The Streets Is a Myth.
I don't be wanting no distractions when I'm starting my day. I'm facing 20 years in jail. I don't got no time to...
Thank you for watching my video. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also, hit that notification bell to get the latest on hip-hop, sports, comedy, whatever. All right, we got you covered over here at Forgotten Kings TV. And also, click on one of these videos, okay? All right, y'all.